Come one, come all, gather round for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
And we're joined by Brian Sikma from Media Trackers Plus. Jeff Wagner is back.
It's all guys.
It's all guys. A positive pregnancy test brings joy and sometimes fear, but now many women, get this, are selling their positive pregnancy tests on Craigslist. The purpose of this is so women can play pranks on friends and family or trick or maybe trap a man into marriage. Some women are doing this in Milwaukee and Green Bay. Jeff Wagner, you're laughing about this.
I am hoping for a unanimous agreement among the four of us here.
We're well qualified to talk about it. I'm sure we're all men.
well, first of all, I mean, look, a marriage has a tough enough chance of succeeding nowadays to begin with. If you go into the marriage by deceiving the guy that you're pregnant, it doesn't seem to me it's going to be very optimistic. Plus, he's going to find out at some point in time that you're not pregnant. I like the part about the pranking too, though. Hey, the idea is that you can play a prank on mom and dad. Well, look, I like a good prank as well as the next guy. But your 16-year-old daughter coming up and saying, hey, mom and dad, I'm pregnant. And, oh, just kidding. I don't get how that's funny.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Jeff there. I mean, this is something that's really, there's a bizarre level to this. I mean, it's kind of as if Craigslist has been part of the internet now, allowing anybody to come up with any wild thing for a laugh. I mean, there's something almost crude and disturbing about it, to think about buying somebody else's positive pregnancy test to use for your own prank. And I get the laughs and everything. It really is something that's odd and bizarre and just part of a trend I think we've seen as the internet's kind of allowed anybody to come up with their own attempt to be funny, as it were.
You know what we need then? You know, prank process servers that can deliver fake divorce papers.
Yeah, I just see. I mean, yeah, that would get your attention as well. You know, I guess the more underlying thing is this. Do you need the government to come in and regulate and say, no, you can't do it? Well, I'm not willing to go that far. But this does, again, like you were talking about, Brian, kind of reveal that dark underbelly that's of the internet, that there's weird people out there, and you know, people are buying and selling stuff, and they hook up in weird ways. And this is just one of those examples.
Yeah, I guess it's a whole new reason to be buyer beware. And I'm wondering also, is, you know, Maury Povich or Jerry Springer's ratings are down, and this will be a way to get them back up again. I mean, isn't this what this show is?
You are the father.
Yeah. This is simply a publicity stunt or humor stunt by some people, and it's really, again, I say it's almost crude. I mean, who would want to buy something like that? I mean, I see the funny side, but hopefully a lot of people don't take these sellers up on the offer.
I'm liking this all-male review here today because we're in complete agreement.
Well, even if we had a female, I don't think any of our females would be defending this.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. Coming up next.
Pick of the day. Again, we're joined by Brian Sikma and Jeff Wagner of 620 WTMJ.
And the viewers chose this. A 62-year-old woman was hit and killed yesterday. Witnesses say Earlene Fraser ran into traffic while crossing the street at 35th and Highland. The driver who hit that woman stayed on the scene and is cooperating with police. This is the third time that we've found in the last couple of weeks that somebody's been hit running out in the traffic. Should pedestrians just be more careful when trying to cross the street?
Well, you know, Steve, second time in 3 business days. On Thursday, you had that horrible story with the 6-year-old boy who ran out in the middle of the block and got hit. There are a lot of bad drivers around. I don't think anybody would dispute that. But at the same time, I think more and more pedestrians are just, I don't know whether it's people on cell phones or people in a hurry or whatever. I can't tell you how many times I'm driving some of the major arterial streets around here, and you just see people just walk out in the middle of blocks. Bad drivers, bad bicyclists, bad motorcyclists, and bad pedestrians, and we all need to wake up.
Well, I certainly agree with Jeff. I mean, when you're driving a vehicle, you do need to be aware of what's going on around you. And as a pedestrian, you may not be at the wheel of a powerful machine that can take someone's life, but you, by inadvertently walking in the traffic or not paying attention, can cause someone to have a life full of regret. Because in every one of these instances, there's at least 2 victims. There is the pedestrian who unfortunately suffers injuries or, in some cases, fatality. But then there's also the driver who may have done everything right, but still ended up colliding with a pedestrian who wasn't paying attention. And for those people that are driving, it's also something that weighs on them as they have to live with the consequences of that situation.
I just think in our lives these days, it's so easy to be distracted, and no matter what you're doing, whether you're driving, when you're out running or cycling or walking, you know, it just requires us to pay attention, but it's so easy to be distracted.
And you know, police are blaming some of this on the polar vortex. They say that it's so cold outside, people want to get across that street to their car or wherever they're going as quickly as possible, sometimes not looking both ways.
Right, and it's, you know, when I was in law school, we used to call these dart outs, you know, people darting out between traffic or into traffic, and it's just, you know, okay, take a little bit of time, be safe, be careful, and drivers need to pay attention too. I'm not letting bad drivers off the hook.
Yeah, it's tragic.
And especially pay attention too around the evening hours and the morning hours when some of these accidents have taken place. Drivers do have trouble with low light conditions. You got to take that into account when you're crossing a street.
Well, let's move on to our lightning round. Usually when we get into a fender bender on the road, we call police. But if you're in Las Vegas, don't bother calling 911. Las Vegas police say unless a crash resulted in an injury, don't expect police to show up. They rather spend that time tackling bigger cases. Your thoughts?
This is the going trend. Lots of big cities are like this. Matter of fact, a couple years ago, somebody rear-ends me right down the street from where we're sitting here. We call 911. They say, "Is anybody hurt?" No. Is there much damage? No. Well, okay, just, you know, we're not going to send a police car. Just, you know, file your police report. You've got like 24 or 48 hours to do it. So this is the trend for minor instances. I don't know that it's good, but it's just the reality.
Well, I do think this is not the worst of anything, because you do have these situations that happen where if it's a minor incident, then all you have to do is have those two drivers exchange insurance information. That's really all insurance companies want to see. The reason you want to have a police officer there is if there's an injury, and if there's not an injury, then certainly it's better for them to spend their time going after criminals and making serious investigations, and let drivers get back on the road after they've gotten the appropriate insurance information. So I actually think this is an innovative move by Las Vegas, and it'd be interesting to see if any Wisconsin police departments adopt it as their own mantra and their own policy in the years ahead.
Yeah, given all the stuff that goes on in Vegas, I'm surprised it's taken them this long to get to this policy. I mean, just saying.
Bigger issues to deal with. All right, we're going to leave it at that, guys. Thanks.
Well, What's Hot discussion will continue online. Find that at tmj4.com/